So, and the assessment, of course, is ongoing. There are many ways how we are assessing the situation and are also in contact with our partners, be it the European member state, but also in this case Turkey, and we continue to raise this issue. And going into the second question of yours, and this is also the subject of the discussions which are ongoing this week or which are planned to be taking place this week. I can speak on the external front about the extraordinary Foreign Affairs Council, which was called by High Representative Josep Borrell yesterday to take place later this week. And there is also informal meeting of the foreign ministers, which was already planned, where Turkey is going to be discussed also. So the assessment, you can see it as a process which is ongoing and fed through or by different discussions at different forums and different levels. But the bottom line is that we stick to the agreement or to the EU-Turkey statement. We expect Turkey to honor its obligations and its commitments stemming from this deal, and all the efforts currently exercised by the EU are focused on going back to the normality of the situation in fulfilling this deal. And yes, focus also the attention on Idlib, because the situation in Syria, and specifically on Idlib, is basically the pretext now for the recent developments we are seeing on the Turkish EU borders. And this is the point HRVP was making in his statements and in his actions already before, that what is needed in Idlib is urgent de-escalation. He called on behalf of the EU on all the parties involved in this, especially the Syrian regime supported by the Russian backers, to stop the ongoing activities, military activities in Idlib, because they are creating inhuman conditions and causing unspeakable human suffering, which is then producing the flows of refugees into Turkey, and then forces Turkey to take the steps we are witnessing right now.
Okay, other questions for Peter? Lorenzo.
Peter, the extraordinary council that has been convened by the High Representative will be later this week, you said. And then there is an informal meeting of the same ministers also later this week. When is this extraordinary council that will discuss the migration and Turkish-Greek problem happening? When do you have a day, or you're still looking for a day?
Well, procedurally on this, you should get more information this afternoon, later this afternoon, because it first needs to be discussed by the member states in the COREPER, at the COREPER level, in order to have the necessary procedures in place and approved by all the member states. But indeed, I mean, the ministers will have anyway the opportunity to discuss at the informal meeting, but then to have the formal FAC that will take place later this week. I think you can see already the logic, like the sequence of the steps, like first having informal discussions and then formal discussions, and possibly also decisions. But let's wait for the procedures to take their course. And as I said, later this afternoon, we will already be able to tell you the place and the exact date.
Okay, have lots and lots of questions still for Peter over there on the right.